Welcome to Who You Were with Patrick Noth and Sebastian Canelli. In each episode, we ask our guests to talk about a time in their life when they were significantly different. Preview episode.
The bad boy's back.
Okay, welcome to Who You Were. This is our preview episode. This is a podcast with me, Patrick Noth.
And me, Sebastian Canelli. Dirty boy for life.
So this is a podcast where we bring on comedians and we ask them about a time in their life where things were significantly different. Maybe before they got into comedy, maybe early in their career in comedy. Sebastian, who have we had so far?
We've had Jim Gaffigan. We've had Chris Gethard. We've had Casey Jost. We've had Alex Dixon, among so many other people.
Yeah. It's been super interesting, and it sort of runs. It can be either, just kind of light, or some of them have been kind of like intense.
Sure, yeah. It's whatever it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
Like whatever they want to talk about. We're just here to hear about who they were, because I think why we started doing this was because we both were different people before we are who we are now. We both made changes in our life.
Yeah, for sure. We both effectively had to make changes in our life.
Yes.
One of the reasons that I think we connected early on is because that was the case with both of us. It was like, oh yeah, I think we didn't even have to have that conversation to know it.
No. And then I guess in our minds, if it brought us closer together, and then you think, who were all these other people? Because we know who they are now.
Yes.
But what's going on before we knew them?
Yeah, and not only that, but we know who they are as performers.
Yes.
But we don't necessarily know where they came from or what their struggles were. And honestly, I think a lot of people use comedy in your youth to sort of deal with shit,
Sure.
So it's very interesting to hear about someone's personal path.
I always said I was a kid.
Are you fucking yawning right now? Welcome to the preview episode.
Shut up, dude. You caught me. I was letting out a fat yawn. So I was always saying, as a kid, I was so big I couldn't hide. I was always such a big kid that I had to hide in my personality.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in order to be noticed in my family, I'm one of 9 kids, and I just had to I essentially had to perform to get noticed. And not only that, but I think early on, I thought that was where my validation was going to come from 100% of the time, is performing and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I think also it's interesting because it's that's probably true for a lot of people, but not everybody winds up in entertainment. So it's this thing of I think it's in you a little bit, when you want to do comedy, when you want to be a performer, but also there are all these other factors that go into how you get there,
Of course, and I think that we just because we know it's so important, it made us who we are now, who we were in the past. We want to talk about that with other people, and we want to really unpack some shit.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I observe is there's kind of 2 different roads that comedians take. This is very broad, maybe broad strokes, but
I have no idea what you're about to say,
yeah.
And I'll tell you if I like it or not.
But it's I think my favorite comedy is somebody who's willing to be their authentic self to the point that most people would be embarrassed by it. You know what I mean? Richard Pryor was somebody who I watched early on, was this guy does not give a fuck. He just completely is owning who he is and the problems that he's had in his life.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, it honestly lightens life in a way,
Yeah.
And
laughing at the hard stuff, laughing at the shit that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I like what you said. I'll tell you this. I think I heard this saying comedians, you either got to show who you are or show what you love, right?
Yeah.
Because I think by showing what you love, so there's a lot of nerd culture comedy out there, which isn't who I am, right? But why I think it works is because they're showing what they love, and by showing what you love, that shows who you are in a sense.
Right, yeah.
So I think all that, I love Star Trek and shit like that.
The classic, a lot of the classic comedians do Star Trek bits.
Shut up, dude. They all got fucking graphic tees on, dude. And
yeah, no, for sure.
And it's because they're showing who they love, and that's why I think a lot of those people work in comedy. And I think it's if you don't show what you love, then you gotta show who you are, right? And I think that's where you and I lie more. We show who we are on stage. So I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Well, I mean, I definitely think like I try to. I think like that's a whole process. I think it takes some people longer to like have full ownership over that. You know what I mean? Like I remember always kind of being jealous of you because it felt like when you were, you know, I had already been doing stuff for a while, and like when I saw you, I was like, this dude is just fucking owning who he is. You know what I mean?
you.
And I like.
Well, I don't think I had a choice.
Yeah.
I as sad as that sounds, I don't know if I became me so deep. I don't know if I could pretend not to be me.
Yeah. I feel
I
like
sounds like me too.
Yeah.
Like just like you look at me, I look different, I sound different. Like I'm already a fucking freak.
Yeah.
So I might as well just say what I'm thinking.
I feel like for me, I've been like somebody who has sort of been more of like a chameleon since I was a kid. Like I didn't really necessarily know who I was or have ownership over who I was. So I had to like, I felt like I had to put on airs, like, you know, ever since I can remember, either whether it be to like impress my older siblings or go into like a middle school that was just fucking like my middle school was like scary. You know what I mean? Like it was fucking
no joke.
Bananas. So like I had to like pretend.
You love how we gave no specifics. I just said no joking goes bananas. And honestly, I understood exactly what Pat said.
But like I feel like so it's been like more of a process for me to genuinely know like who I am and to genuinely be able to distinguish my voice and find my voice. I think it's like and I think this is the case with everybody, but I think for me it's been more of a process. That's why it's been really cool to interview a lot of these people and to see, you know, what their path was in order to like own their shit, you know? And
I'll tell you this. No, I'm kidding. I'm just breathing, dude. I got that James Gandolfini breath. You could hear me a mile away.
Breathe yawns.
Dude, I swear to God, dude, James Gandolfini died and he lives in my breath. You could hear me breathing before you hear me walking down the block.
Oh, no.
Perfect for the podcast.
We sort of touch on James Gandolfini's death in every episode.
No, but so what the fuck was I talking about? What's so great about this also is these are a lot of people that I know and I've known for years and like I love and I see because obviously we're pulling guests that we like.
Yeah.
And we get to have conversations that I wouldn't normally have with them.
Totally. I didn't know a lot of this stuff about most of the people. And also because like, you know, I think like we like to have, I think a lot of people like to have conversations like this, but the context where we see people is like, doesn't necessarily lend itself to that. Like we might be in a green room, people are joking around, people are, you know, it's like it's not like a place where like vulnerability will get you sort of like,
sure,
it's an opportunity to fuck with you basically.
And basically there's something about podcasts, I don't know, you put a mic in front of it and then all of a sudden everything is acceptable. You could say something that you wouldn't normally say.
Totally, and I think because people listen to these, you know, people listen to podcasts by themselves, or there's something feels a little bit more intimate about it, where you can sort of let yourself be seen a little bit more.
Sure, because it is intimate. Podcasts are intimate.
Yeah,
because it's like when I listen, it's like somebody's inside of me.
Yeah, and that's why we do ours naked.
I'm fucking no. I'm never mind. I'm taking that. I was about to say something, but you gotta check yourself. You know, so that's me. This is how I'm changing on a daily basis.
This is what we're working for. Well, this is what we're working towards. Being better people who don't. I really desperately want to know what that joke was going to be now.
It was just going to be about my dick being hard the whole time. But instead, I didn't say it. But, you know, because that was a lie. My dick is as soft as it could be. It's as soft as a bunch of Jell-O you left in the sun.
And it's important to be authentic about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We get people on the show. You know, they're authentic about their dick not being hard, or whether or not it's like.
So we sat down. We were like, we got to do this little preview episode, and you're like, yeah, we'll show them what the podcast is. This is the worst example of what they're gonna get.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think we're I think we're at times this light, but I don't think we're like fucking around quite as much when we do the show. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think so. So listen to the heavy stuff and then come back and you can re-listen to this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, so we hope you'll check out our first season. It's great.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
I mean, I'm not even like bullshitting. It's like I don't even feel like that's like a brag about me. You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't talk. We'll like ask some questions. We'll talk occasionally, but like it's about the people in the room.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Give us a listen, subscribe, and
oh yeah, we should talk about. You could follow us on the on Instagram, Who You Were Pod.
Who You Were Podcast. At Who You Were Podcast.
At Who You Were.
And we're doing like before and after pics for all the guests. So like they're gonna give us a picture of the time in their life that they're talking about, and then a picture of them today, and we're gonna sort of post them next to each other. So we want you to email us your picture. Send us 2 pictures. You know, Sebastian will get into Photoshop and he'll sort of put them together. and then we'll post them to our Instagram, which is at Who You Were Podcast.
Yeah, just send them. I mean, like, also like message us, let us know what you think. If you don't like it, tell us why. Don't just say you don't like it.
Yeah.
Because I'm open. I don't care.
Yeah, be like, Patrick's talking too much. He's trying to relate it too much to himself.
Sebastian's being too awesome in the background. Sebastian sounds dope as hell in the background. Like, slow down.
Sebastian's being really dope, but,
Sebastian's breath is louder than the guest.
Sebastian keeps eating soup. Just slurping on soup.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're trying this, I guess.
Yeah.
We're just trying. I don't know.
Yeah, I've enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's also been nice to hang out, Pat.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day.
It gives us some human interaction during the day that we need.
You know, most of the time it's the first thing I'm doing out of my house.
Oh, coming over.
Yeah, coming over, because we do it at Pat's place. It's like usually the first thing of my days, which is nice.
It's really nice. Because you have to interact with people, I think. Even it's a very solitary thing.
Yeah.
You gotta like run around, audition, or write, or whatever. So it's nice to just.
It's nice to talk to people before 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, leave the apartment.
Yeah. And that's it. If there's like guests that you guys want to hear, like let us know. We'll try to get them. We'll
reach out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. Listen to episodes. If you like it, please subscribe, rate, review. I don't know. I'm figuring this shit out.
We're figuring it out.
I don't know how to do this, but it is what it is. Yeah. And thank you. Thank you. If you think you'd be a good guest, send me a message.
We'll judge you.
Yeah. I mean, no joke. I think we're open to pretty much anything.
Yeah, absolutely. We're figuring it out, and it's been a fun process. So
yeah.
far.
And every episode is different. So I think if you don't like one episode, give a try to another one.
Yeah.
You know, right? So because every episode it stands on its own. It's not serialized. It's like Law and Order SVU.
Yeah.
Right. What's that called?
Single camera. No, but like a lot of the people that you would expect, like, you know, we brought on like Gethard, and like he's open about his past, but he talked about something that like I didn't know, you know what I mean? That I'd never, stories that I never even heard. So it's kind of cool to see what people bring too.
No, yeah. It's been awesome. I liked it. So come on, like it too.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to Who You Were. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Guest before and after pics on Instagram at Who You Were Podcast. Send your before and after pics to whoyouwerepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Who You Were Podcast. This podcast is produced independently. If you'd like to support it, please visit patreon.com/Patrick Noth. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.